21.
And now we are up to the round 21 episode of Lachie's Weekly Footy Roundup, as round 20 was a bit of a different theme in that one. I was recording at my old footy club, Eastern Park. However, for the review of round 20, Thursday night, Hawthorn and Carlton. Oh, stop it, Jack Jenovan! Another weird celebration you did! This time you done the Telstra advert on the Carlton backline. As for Carlton, however, well, you really need a rebuild next year with at least a new coach, and and McKay and Curto's not working. One of them needs to go. Meanwhile, Essendon and Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium. Oh my God! Can Essendon delist off the squad already? 93-point losers against the Dogs. Maybe the whole backline needs to get delisted after letting Aaron Norton and Sam Darcy combine for 13 goals. Essendon's best goal kickers were both Peter Wright and second gamer Liam McMahon. 2 goals each. Very bad game for the Bombers. GWS and Sydney. Well, this is no ordinary Western derby. I bet Sydney derby. Swans were up by, 40-odd points. Then GWS come back to win by 40-odd points. Reminds me of Sydney's collapse against North Melbourne in 1991. When they had a 36-point lead at half-time. Squandered to lose by 10 goals. Anyways, back to the stats for that game. Well, Brodie Grundy played a very good game in the ruck, but he barely had any help in the second half. As GWS, well, they had Stringer kick 3 goals in his first Sydney derby. Cadman 3, Hogan 2, Bedford 2. And speaking of Bedfords, they're out of administration in South Australia. And that's the team I used to work with. Anyways, back to the Q clash. Gold Coast and Brisbane at People First Stadium. Suns win by 66 points. Well, it's a good thing Kelly Underwood's not commentating this game. Otherwise, she would have said what a win by the Gold Coast Lions. Or Gold Coast Suns win their first derby of 2015. And we're in 2025 now. Matt Rao played a great game for the Gold Coast. Braden Fiorini finally back to his 2016 best. Ben Long kicks 4 goals. Bailey Humphrey 3. Jai Farah and Hansa Hero up forward with 3 as well. Ben Ainsworth 3. Ben King with 2. Nathan Reid kicked the goal for the goalie. Brisbane, however, well, they were shocking. Well, at least the Western Derby's a bit closer. West Coast gave it a try in the first half. They went down by just, 50 points. As for the stats of that one, well, I think Liam Baker should have won the showdown medal. And a derby medal. He had, 119 points in fantasy. As for Fremantle, they've had a very good game with Hayden Young kicking 3 goals. Michael Frederick 4, Paddy Voss 3, Jai Amos 3. Well, he was a bit of a mix between Jedi, Jai, and Amos. Meanwhile, in the, Saturday night footy, more like a Saturday night snooze fest. North Melbourne and Geelong at Marvel Stadium. Oh my, our crap of the Roos. 101 points they lost by. Another Marvel Stadium, crap fest. Jeremy Cameron kicked 11 goals. Bailey Smith, 43 possessions and a goal. Max Holmes played another ripper of a game. Shannon Neal kicked 4 for the Cats. Who else is kicking goals? Tyson Stengel with 2, while Zerha and Curtis, they were the only goal scorers for North Melbourne. Geelong, well, they're looking good for the top 4. For North Melbourne, well, get back to square one. Get rid of half the list. Crows versus Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. How bad? That was the worst showdown in Port Adelaide's living memory. 98 points they lose by. For a showdown standard, well, it is absolutely embarrassing to be a Port Adelaide supporters. Port Adelaide supporters, sorry, I'm sorry, but you're feeling very embarrassed by the Crows. It was a very good performance for the Crows. Riley Philthorpe won the medal with 3 goals and 19 disposals. Tex Walker kicked 3 in the conditions. Ben Keys with 3. Saligo 2. Berry 2. Well, a lot of Crows stepped up in the goal kicking department. The only multiple goal kicker for Port was an unknown Jen McEntee. 2 goals. I think his career is pretty much back from his slumber. For the Crows, well, they're looking good for a premiership. They're looking good to possibly win a premiership. As for Port Adelaide, show some heart! Otherwise, you're going to get belled by 100 points against the Cats next week. Anyways, off to Richmond and Collingwood at the MCG. Well, at least the Tigers tried their hardest in the first half. Collingwood ran away with it and won by 36 points. Well, at least it was better than what the Saturday night teams have managed. Nick Dacos had another great game, 146 points in fantasy, and 42 disposals and 3 goals. Tom Mitchell's back to his best. Tyler Sutsy's played his best game in the Richmond Guernsey. While the one that really let Richmond down was basically Tim Taranto. 0 points in fantasy. I think he might have pulled out late in the last minute, as I didn't even see his stats. Meanwhile, Saints and Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. What a comeback by the Saints in the Kados versus Carman derby. What a comeback by the Saints. 46 down at 3/4 time. Nasiah Wanganeen Maliri, he's led the Saints to a comeback. 34 disposals and 4 goals. He may need to stay. St Kilda will be hoping he'll stay for their sake. But most likely he might be heading off to Port Adelaide next year to give him a bit of heart. Max Gord played a really good game in the ruck. 45 headouts and 17 disposals. Let's take a look at the ladder. First on the ladder we got Collingwood. Crows are catching up in second. Brisbane they've dropped to third. Fourth is Geelong. Well, Brisbane potentially lose to Collingwood. They might be out of the 4. Hawthorn, GWS and Fremantle are also catching up in 5th, 6th and 7th. Those 3 teams, they'll be looking to seal a finals berth next week. 8th, we got Gold Coast. Could they seal a finals berth for the first time? Western Bulldogs are in 9th. They're also catching up. And it's probably looking like season over for the other. It's pretty much season over for the other 9 teams. Sydney, they're pretty much eliminated from the finals race. The only way to get back in it is they're going to have to win every game. Port Adelaide are out. They've got September holidays booked to Bali. Carlton are 12th. Melbourne, Essendon and St Kilda are sitting at 13th, 14th, 15th. Richmond are up to 16th. 17th is North Melbourne, while last on the ladder, and well, pretty much one to win and spoon is the West Coast Eagles. They're 14 points behind second to last. Let's look at the prediction for this week. Bulldogs and Giants at Marvel Stadium. I reckon it'll be a close game. I'm going with the Bulldogs. Because of their record at Marvel, I reckon by just 5 points. Crows and Hawthorn at Adelaide Oval. The Crows have had two big wins in a row against Gold Coast and Port. I reckon the Crows might get a dub by 5 goals against Hawthorn. Melbourne and West Coast at Marvel Stadium. Well, surely Melbourne cannot collapse the big lead at 3/4 time again. I reckon they'll hold on by 10 goals against the Eagles. Gold Coast and Richmond at People First Stadium. Although the Tigers improved a little bit, but I'm going to have to go Gold Coast by 11 goals for the safe bet. Sydney and the Bombers at the SCG. Essendon and more injuries. I reckon the Swans will beat the Essendon Medical Hospital by, 100 points. As Sydney might keep their season alive. Collingwood and Brisbane at the MCG. I reckon Collingwood might win a close one by a point. Saints and North Melbourne at Marvel. I reckon the Kangaroos might show a little bit of heart and lose by 38 points. Geelong and Port Adelaide at Kardinia Park. Well, I can't see Port Adelaide turning up in this game. I'm going with Geelong by 99 points. Fremantle and Carlton at Optus Stadium. Well, it's a gimme game for Freo. This is the chance to steal finals. I'm going with the Dockers by 49. And that's it for the recording for round 21. And next week we're on to round 22.